Well, good morning. Today's little project is an old fuel oil furnace, and I do mean old. This is from about 1971, 72. In fact, this fuel oil furnace came out of my parents' mobile home, so I grew up with this thing, listened to it rumble for many a years till I was in my 20s, and we finally took it out and put in a central air heat pump system, but I kept the old furnace. Now I use it in my garage. But this is an old Wayne, and the reason I'm making this video, I got online, I was kind of doing a self tune-up on it, because it's getting hard to find anybody to even will want to work on a fuel oil furnace. So if you happen to have one of these really old units like this might help you out, because I'm not no professional by any means, but I've read up a little bit, and I've worked on it in the past. Just doing little tune-ups, like changing the nozzle, which I already did. There's the little bottle it came out of. It gives me it's a 60 thousandths diameter nozzle with an 80-degree spray pattern. So we got that put in new, and I got me some new electrodes. I was going to show you the difference. That's something that may trip you up. This one was lighting intermittently. It'd come on with a fuel oil furnace. They'll run, and sometimes about 60 seconds they shut down if they don't see the fire from the photocell. But look at the difference. This electrode is burnt plumb flat. So if you're having problems with your fuel oil furnace, you take it apart and you see electrodes like that, then you know you need some new electrodes. Now for this particular one, this old Wayne, where's my bottle? If you happen to have this same model, I'll post it here on the channel. There's the part number, Wayne electrode 28026-02. So that's what you need. They're about 20 bucks or so for new electrodes. And I got this little handy dandy tool to set the gap width, which is pretty interesting. Of course, on the furnace it tells you how to set the, you want like a 1/8 gap, ½ inch from the center nozzle up, and you want about 1/8 in front. But with this little tool, you just look at it here, and it shows you between a 70 and 80 degree pattern. That's the one you use. You just bring it up here, slide it over. You just make your adjustments, tighten down your screws, and it's set. So it's ready to go. So I'm going to show you how I use it in this little. I've got a small little garage, and you can see it's a chaotic mess because 20 projects going on at once. But because the garage is so small, I don't know, it's maybe a 12 by 24 or something. Not very big, but it's big enough to work on a car if you can get a car in here when I don't have so much crap happening. But I didn't want to take up any more floor space than I had to. So I had this old furnace. So what I see is I mounted it up in the attic. You see the hole there. And then on the side is this is my cold air intake. So you can see the hole it goes up into. So it sucks up through here, and I made that box so it's not just looping air around and around. It shoots it down to the floor. I mean, it can be 0 outside, and I can have it 80 degrees in here. So it's quite nice heat. It's very hot, probably 120 degrees, and that thing comes out of there. That's another nice thing about growing up in a mobile home with fuel oil heat. It's such a warm heat. I got married, moved out, and went to a heat pump, about froze to death. So, but I'm going to come up here in the attic, and I'm going to put this in here, do a few more adjustments, and hopefully it'll light up for me and continue to operate like it's supposed to. Alright, I've made it up into the attic, and you can see there's my opening. It takes you back downstairs into the garage work area. And here is this old furnace. And there's my ductwork that gives my cold air return. It comes up in, blows the air down through and straight out the bottom, down into the garage to keep me nice and warm. And you can see this, let me try to get my light down here, see how this works a little bit. So there's the combustion chamber. When I get this lit in a minute, you'll see the fire will be flying off through here, getting things warmed up. But it's kind of neat how these things operate. If you've never been around these things, they're pretty unique. Because you got your pump right here that builds up your pressure, and it's usually about 130 psi if I remember right. I put a gauge on it a while back, but I can't remember. It tells you a setting on it there. There's a label to tell you what kind of psi you should be seeing to make sure your pump is good. Because I was having some intermittent issues. It wouldn't light. So I checked the pump pressures. The photocell, I tested it. It was not very, not ohming right. I believe you use about 12 ohms of resistance, so that way you know that the photocell is seeing the light correctly. So as my tune-up, I put a new one of those on there. And of course, here's you got your motor, and you got your blower wheel that blows air across it. And this is like a little brain box. So together, when you first light it, you'll find out here in a second, when the fuel pressure comes out here, it ties into this. It sprays out that nozzle under pressure, like a real super fine mist of fuel oil. I'm using #2 fuel oil, so I get a little more heat out of it. And then you've got, of course, the electrodes. It's constantly arcing, so it's what ignites it. But when you first turn it on, if this eye doesn't see some light within over 60 seconds or so, it shuts itself down, because if it didn't have that safety feature, then you could pump a truckload of fuel inside this chamber, and then when it did light, and I can remember this as a kid, the thing would shake the whole trailer, because it just, you'd have a whole bunch of fuel oil in the bottom, and it just rumble and shake and carry on. So that's an issue when I get to where they don't light well. And something I was told in checking the transformers, because transformers can get weak. In fact, there's an old one there that died. One way they said to test it is you should be able to pull an arc almost all the way across. See, I've already got this. I've got it bypassed. I've got it plugged up here with just a lamp cord. So I was going to show you how I was told to test it. If you've got a strong one, because this is 10,000 volts, so you definitely want a plastic candle, because it might be the last thing you do. So there you go. You arc it, you pull it, it should almost reach the other one. So that's pretty cool. So I know I got a good strong transformer. I was told if you got a weak one, the arc won't come near all the way across. So now it would be a good idea to unplug that, since we know that is good. So that's what 10,000 volts looks like. So alright, so now all I got to do is drop this inside of there. And I'll hook up my fuel line. And we'll do a little testing here shortly, and hopefully we'll have some heat, because it is like 24 degrees in here. It's mighty cold. Okay. Everything's back together, sort of. I got my little electrode eye is tightened down. Got my fuel lines hooked back up. They're good and tight. We don't want no leaks. When you close up the transformer, those two will make contact with these copper bars. So we'll put that in there. Alright, I got a little screw back here to tighten up. Get my nut driver on it. Okay, well, we're almost ready for liftoff. Well, I hope not liftoff. That's probably not a good term, seeing we're dealing with fuel oil, fire. That'd be more like a rocket. So hopefully we will have heat anyway. But I was wanting to show you this thing. This is a very old Wayne model number, M-LS. And the reason I want to make this video, there's just nothing on the internet about this old burner. So maybe this helps somebody out. Also, remember there's a little oil hole back here. You can put a few drops in to help lubricate that blower motor. And of course, remember you can need a few special tools if you want to check one of these out. You need your pressure gauge right here to measure the pressure off your pump. And there's a little adjustment screw here. You can fine tune it. These things are kind of simple, but kind of complicated. There's a lot of stuff going on, so you got to take your time and troubleshoot it well. If you're not comfortable dealing with this kind of stuff, by all means, call your professional. If you can find somebody to work on these old things anymore, I don't know if that's possible or not. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there showing you the basics on how they work and how you can tune them up. So let's touch this wire to this and see if we have fire. Yep, we got smoke. And we have fire. Look at there. Awesome. Alright. And you can see it's a dirty job. All that black soot. Okay, so she's lit. She's running. It'll take a few minutes to heat up, and there's a little thermostat there. It will trip. As I turn the blower motor, there's a blower up inside this box that will then shoot the heat right off the bottom down into my work area. So I'll put me a wire nut on that, the way it's supposed to be, and I believe this should be a success. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned a little something and get the pitch. Maybe this will help you out just a little bit. you're not certain, be sure and try to call somebody. Thanks. See ya. Have a great day. Bye.